Hello, and welcome to a VJ Books unboxing, a little book haul video for you. I had a false start where the video decided it didn't want to record, but we're recording this time. So anyways, this is a signed book haul from VJ Books. VJ Books is a bookstore online that has been retiring for the past 9 months. They've got a lot of books, so they don't really have an end in sight yet, at least not yet. But they still have a lot of great books on sale for very cheap prices. Some of them are still a little higher priced if it's a rarer book, but they keep adding new books, which is what kind of is surprising to me. And well, I've been watching the new books that have been added, and there's a good selection of new books, which can be both like new in the sense that it's new to the bookstore and new in the sense that it's just, an actual new book, such as these first two here. And there were a handful that caught my interest. So, well, I wanted to share these ones with you. Up first, we have John Connelly's The Book of Lost Things and its sequel, The Land of Lost Things. This should be a signed paperback edition. There we go, with John Connelly's very small signature. And then we have an ARC, advanced reader copy, of The Land of Lost Things, the sequel that was 16 or 17 years in the making. Book of Lost Things was published back in 2006 or 7. Yep, there's John Connelly's little tiny signature in this ARC. Anyways, the Book of Lost Things, I listened to the audiobook probably back in 2016, 2015, and I absolutely loved it. I'm a big fan of dark fairy tales, and the Book of Lost Things hits that nail squarely on the head. A young boy, I think he's 12 or 13, is transported to the world filled with heroes from his books, heroes from stories, heroes from fairy tales, nursery rhymes, and the like. And, man, think like a little never-ending story magic, but much darker. And that's saying something, because Neverending Story is pretty dark to begin with. But Neverending Story is still very much a kid's book or a kid's film, where the Book of Lost Things is not. This is dark. Do not let your kids read this. Things get very dark. But I loved it, and I never had a physical copy of it. So when I saw this was added to the website, I said, well, hell yeah, I gotta buy it. So then, the sequel, which just got published last year, 2023, The Land of Lost Things. Well, I don't know much about this other than it's about Phoebe, an 8-year-old girl who is being whisked away to the land of the same land from the Book of Lost Things, land of creatures and mischief and all sorts of what I can only imagine is more dark fantasy. And well, I was so impressed with the Book of Lost Things that when I saw they had a signed ARC, I said, hell yeah, I'm going to buy it. Then, that's not all. We've got a bunch of others. I mean, you've been seeing the cover of Little Eve here for a couple minutes now on the screen. It's a remainder marked copy, but we have a copy of Little Eve by Catriona Ward. This is a trade edition, which should be signed right there by Cat Ward, which is fantastic. I had picked up Sundial from VJ Books last year, and I finally got around to reading that. I did a book review just this past week for Sundial. Absolutely loved it so much that I immediately went out to see what other Catriona Ward books they had. They only had Little Eve, but you know what? I bought the hell out of it. It sounds like it's a story of, once again, it's a story of family, and presumably some very messed up family. This takes place on an island off the coast of Scotland, which is trying to bring about the end of the world. And so Eve, a young girl in this family on the coast of Scotland, is kind of thrust in the middle of it. And it looks like you got two different worlds in a way. Whether or not it's going to be alternate realities, I don't know. Or if it's just creative idea with the cover art, I'm not sure as I'm dropping the book. But it's already beat up, so that's fine. But I do notice the flag's different on both worlds, so it has me intrigued. Next up, we have, apparently it's the large print edition of Burglar on the Prowl. I didn't realize it was the large print edition. Yeah. doesn't specify that on the packing list, so maybe I just misread it online. It just says Burglar on the Prowl, signed first trade paperback edition. Anyways, I got the large print edition just to help my weary eyeballs. I'm not going to lie, I only added this one to the cart to get to $69. I like Lawrence Block. And is this one not? Oh, it is. Okay, this one's flat signed on the cover page. I like Lawrence Block, although I will admit I have not read any of the Bernie Rodenbar? Bernie Rodenbar. He's the Gentleman Thief. He's been in like a dozen novels. But I haven't read any of them. I actually own a couple of the novels that Subterranean Press has published. Those are just trade editions as well. But I love Matthew Scudder. I've loved everything I've read by Lawrence Block. So when I needed, to add one more book to get $69, which is not just for, the fact that 69 is a fun number. No, it's because VJ Books was offering free shipping on orders over $69. I think that has since passed in the time it took me to do this unboxing, which is like literally I ordered this, I guess, the last few days of this free shipping. So, a few days later, the week right now that I'm recording this, the free shipping doesn't exist anymore, which is a little bit of a shame because the free shipping is also really nice with when you're buying a ton of books. They used to have free shipping on all orders over $150, but with their like 90% off sale, they have since stopped that. And then they brought it back briefly for $69. And well, the shipping without Burglar on the Prowl would have been $25. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find me a $5 book. And I found me a $5 book. So anyways, Bernie Rodenbar, Gentleman Thief, heard great things. And well, I'm going to be able to read this from a distance. But anyways, very excited, even just to add another book to my collection, even if it's, a large print one. This is the one that actually started my my purchase here. Which is kind of funny. This is Once a Crooked Man by David McCallum. David McCallum is the actor. He was from Man from U.N.C.L.E., more recently Ducky from NCIS. He recently passed away near the end of last year. Anyways, I think this is the only novel he's written, as far as I'm aware. But he has signed some books in the past. Most recently, he has signed the lettered edition of the Outer Limits scripts. He was in an episode of the Outer Limits. He was in at least one episode of the Outer Limits. I can't say that I've actually watched the series to know if he's in multiple episodes. But he signed the lettered edition for Gauntlet Press. And I've never been so moved by a beautiful signature than in that edition. So when I saw that they had a signed copy, I was like, well, hell yeah. A signed copy of Once a Crooked Man. I said, I don't know anything about this as a book, but I really would love his beautiful signature. And look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful signature you've ever seen? It is just gorgeous. This is a crime thriller comedy. It's about a crime family who's trying to get out of the family and a young actor who's trying to warn the victim of what is going to be this family's final crime. The book itself is a little beat up. I can't remember if it said that in the details or not. But that's a little disappointing. But I'm not going to lie, I was mainly buying it for that, because that is just beautiful. I don't usually collect signatures. I collect books. It just happens to be that many of the books feature signatures. I'm not going to lie, this was one where I needed to buy the signature. So it's also funny that this references Once a Crooked Man, which coincidentally happens to also be the villain in the Book of Lost Things, the Crooked Man from the nursery rhyme, Once There Was a Crooked Man. So he's the villain in the Book of Lost Things, and also, a title reference for the David McCallum novel. Just complete coincidence that I saw both of these uploaded at the same time, and I said I'm going to pull the trigger on both of those. So VJ Books, they are still in business. They are still retiring eventually, I think. I don't know when that eventually might come into play, but you can still go to vjbooks.com, and they are still adding titles that you can purchase. The new titles are new title prices, but a lot of their older titles, even if it's an older book, such as the Book of Lost Things, 2006, but it's new to the site. It'll still be at a reduced price. I think this was like $10. They occasionally are doing like bonus savings because they go from one sale to the next while they're retiring here. It's kind of a weird situation. But yeah, check out VJ Books. I have plenty of other unboxing videos on the channel here, so please consider checking them out or liking and subscribing to see more beautiful signatures like David McCallum's here. I also have book reviews every week on Tuesdays and other days if I have a good reading week, so plenty to watch. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.